when we're coming from that heart-centered space, that heart-based space, and we're navigating conflict, because it will happen.
Yeah.
And many people shy away from conflict, right?
Right.
It's not something that's easy to address.
Yeah.
What advice might you offer someone to navigate through conflict in that heart-centered way, but still come at it from that authentic, okay, let's just navigate this, not shy from it or not go too aggressively at it? I mean, there are so many different things we can do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it starts with the simple fact that accepting conflict as a part of life, right? So, conflict is nothing extraordinary. And there's something like the magic ratio in healthy relationships. So every healthy relationship has, on average, one conflict-laden interaction for every 5 positive interactions. Yeah, that's a rough rule of thumb. So you need to accept it as a fact of life to begin with. And then don't suppress conflict, but handle it constructively. And that's extremely important in business, because every unaddressed conflict at work has the potential to waste many hours in gossip and unproductive behavior. So it's really important to deal with it, and to deal with it constructively. And there are a few principles to deal with that. So one is responsibility. You need to take responsibility, and it's 100% your responsibility to stay centered and connected and keep the other party centered and connected. So this is one principle. A second one is intention. Maintain a positive intention all throughout. So bring your heart into the conflict. A third one is, and I think that's even more important, it's non-attachment. Don't be attached to any specific outcome or any specific path this conflict resolution is supposed to take, but be open to what unfolds. Another one is unconditional respect. So no matter how upsetting a behavior you might encounter, always show unconditional respect, not only towards the other party, as much as to yourself, right?
Yeah.
And the last point I would say is full engagement. So be fully present, be fully attentive to the situation, its nuances, its thoughts, feelings, needs, again, in a mutual way, your parties as much as your own. So I think those are 5 key principles for dealing with conflicts. And a very important question then is, how do you communicate in a conflict situations? Very often emotion gets mixed up with facts, and you get very quickly offensive or defensive behavior, and this is mostly very detrimental to reaching constructive outcomes. Exactly. And one method
everyone gets triggered.
Yes, exactly. Everyone encounters that every day, maybe. You never listen when I talk, for example. Well, there's an immediate attack on the other person in a factual thing that you would like to share, right? And there's a method that's called Nonviolent Communication. It was developed by Marshall B. Rosenberg, a psychologist, which is nothing new. It's basically a combination, a compilation of a lot of things that we knew for a long time, but it's very, very effective. And it's 4 levels that you, or 4 steps in a communication process that you follow. One is observation. So share an observation of the fact, what is actually on the table. And I give you an example right away. The second one is share the information. How does it make you feel, right? The third thing is clearly formulate a need. What do you need in order to change your emotional state to a different one, a more positive one? And then there's a request to the other party to take a certain action in order to do that, right? So if you take a situation, for example, again, a business situation, yeah? Instead of saying, you often don't listen to me when I'm speaking, right? You can say, in our meeting today, I noticed that you were on the phone while I was presenting, while I was speaking, right? That's the observation. The second thing is the emotion. It brings up in me the emotion of not being valued for what I have to say, right? That's how you might feel in that situation. Third, I need to know that I have my partner's attention when I'm speaking, right? So you're clearly expressing a need. And then you're expressing a request to the other party, which might be, would you please not use your phone while I'm speaking, right? So you're keeping this whole emotion mixes up with all the other parts out and structure it in a way that the other actually also can follow and understand, because that's the whole point of doing that. It's a method that is directed at increasing empathy, understanding, and constructive behavior. Because at the end of such a process, you would like to have basically a win-win outcome, right? Ideally, you would like to have that something happens based on your intent. So this is a way to really help you do that.
It's a wonderful way to organize it so that it's not just a reaction.
Right.
It is a response.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that one.
I always experience that to be very helpful. I try to do my best to apply it as much as I can, but I'm no saint. And again and again in situations that are very emotionally heated, I catch myself also to fall back into the typical behavior of, you did this and this, it's with practice, like with everything, you get better and better at it.
Exactly. And being able to give yourself grace when you do have those moments. I think that's equally as important. As you were saying, we have to be willing to look at our growth opportunities or where we're not perfect.
Right.
Because ultimately, that allows us to be human too.
Yeah.
And in CEO level positions or any position within an organization, we have to be transparent and real with each other.
Yeah.
And if we set this standard of separation, and you talked about it in the beginning, these silos, right? And we create this hierarchy, and suddenly we start to feel like, no, I'm better than you because I'm perfect and my actions are, you're here and I'm here, then there's all this segregation instead of integration. And then we don't feel like we're in it together. And that includes not being perfect.